reviews are in, and we're going to tell you what they are, because that's our job. He's Todd Vandenberg, I'm Rob Steele, and Halloween is coming up. This is our last show before the Halloween, our last review show before the Halloween. We'll still be here Sunday, telling you news things, telling you to go by the shop that you get to through our website, cinemasavant.com, where you can get our t-shirts and, stickers and pillows. We've got pillows now.
And mugs. And the t-shirts are very soft and comfy. I have mine.
They are. I like them. I'm going to wear one at the mall today and have people go, what the hell is that? It's a show. Listen to it. Anyway, we decided to do spooky movies because Halloween is coming up, and you went to go see what is hopefully a very scary movie.
I did go to see a hopefully very scary movie, and it was very scary. A little bit of preliminaries on this. This is a sequel to one of the all-time classic scary movies, Halloween. I had not realized my dad and I went to see Halloween. That's how long ago Halloween came out, 40 years ago. My dad liked it too. One of the classics, one of the films that it helped launch the slasher genre, without being a stupid slasher movie, because it's very interesting. It has a lot of cool psychological motivations. Halloween is a great film. I did not realize that this is now the 10th sequel. This is the 11th film in the Halloween cycle.
That's a lot of film.
That's a lot of film. It's interesting. To me, this tells you how compelling the basic character is. Here are the Rotten Tomato reviews. These are the Rotten Tomato critical consensus of the films. The first one is 93%. I mean, basically everybody knows Halloween is a great film, not just a great horror film. After that, 31%, 43%, 28%, 14%, 6%. That's for Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers, which is the 6th Halloween movie. Halloween H2O, or H20, however you want to call it. That was the one Jamie Lee Curtis came back. It's 53%. It was okay, but not particularly good. Halloween Resurrection was 11. The Rob Zombie reboot, Halloween, was 26. His follow-up, H2, Halloween 2, was 20%. And when you have 9 sequels, which basically are all, at best, mediocre, and most of them are terrible, and most of them subjectively are terrible. What does that tell you about how strong the character is, that people are still willing to take a shot at watching a movie, and hopefully this time it'll be good. This time it was very, very good. David Gordon Green's the director of Halloween, actually had some input from Mr. John Carpenter, which helps a lot. He scored the film. It's just a really, really good movie. There's a lot going on with it other than just the scares. One of the best things they did was ignore the fact that there were 10 sequels or 9 sequels before it. And they just act like none of that other crap ever happened. It doesn't pick up immediately from the end of the first film, but it just picks up from the events of the first film. So 40 years later, Laurie Strode, she's still dealing with the aftermath of the attacks from Michael Myers. They are no longer brother and sister. Thankfully, they retconned that garbage out of there, because that was just stupid. He's just a random killer. And this movie works on several different levels. For one thing, she's a survivor of just absolutely traumatic attack. It's ruined her life. As they say very early on, she's gone through 2 failed marriages. She has a terrible relationship with her daughter. She's just, because she's so damaged by this experience, which makes sense. It's unfortunate, but that does happen to people who really do survive traumatic effects. She is a survivor, and that's all she's focused on. So it's just completely taken over her life, even though there's been no appearance from Michael Myers for 40 years. She's just been waiting, because she knows eventually it's going to happen, and she's got to be ready. So it's taken over her life for the entire time. The flip side is, of course, he does get out because he's Michael Myers. And man, is this thing ever brutal. It's not a torture porn flick like the various Hostel movies or stuff like that, where you have these long drawn out scenes and Saw of, how many ways can we slice somebody up before they finally die? Like, he's very efficient. When he kills people, he kills them quickly. But some of those scenes are just wow. I mean, this thing is rated R for a reason. It's very, very violent. One of the best scenes in the film, to me, one of the absolute most suspenseful scenes is he's killed someone, because he's Mike Myers, not the Canadian comic. That would be a different kind of movie. Thank God this is not that movie. And he hears a baby crying. And he walks up towards the crib. And you were just so freaked out because, oh my God, are they actually going to do this? Because you don't do that in movies. And they've already broken a couple rules that you typically don't do in movies in this film. So it's kind of one of these things where if you've seen A Quiet Place, you know early on, all bets are off because of an event that happens very early in that film. Same thing going on here. You're not sure, man, are they going to actually do this? And it's just incredibly tense. And I'm not going to spoil it for you to tell you whether it happens or not. But the suspense in this film is great. There's some excellent comic relief. It does have a resolution. It makes sense. Unlike virtually all of the Halloween sequels, highly, highly recommend Halloween. Jamie Lee Curtis is excellent in the film. And he's credited as The Shape in the film, in the credits, just like in the original, which is cool, as opposed to Michael Myers, which is good. And it's the same actor, which is nice. 40 years later, one little spoiler, he still doesn't speak. The opening is a great scene and sets the tone right from the start. It gets really creepy very fast. Just a really, really enjoyable, if you like to be scared out of your mind. I don't know if you're going to be scared out of your mind, but it's scary, it's suspenseful, it's excellent, it's very well done. So you can ignore Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween H2, Halloween Resurrection, Halloween, and H2, Halloween 2. Just go straight from Halloween, the 1978 masterpiece, and then watch Halloween, the new version. Very good flick.
And that's the way to do it. It's kind of like you want to do that with the Star Wars films at this point. Not that they're horror films or anything.
Right, right.
Go from 1 to... actually go from 4 to 6 and ignore the rest of them.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? But
yeah. But yeah, as soon as... when they said that they were going to get rid of... retcon all the previous Halloween sequels, I thought, that's probably a good idea.
It's a very good idea. And it really is odd that because most of those movies have been bad, and yet that's such a compelling story and character that they keep on getting funding to make these movies because they know people will go see them. But I mean, even the audience thing audience scores are not good for any of those sequels.
No.
So it's not.
I think it's almost one of those MST3K things where people go,
because then
it's so terrible. Bad, we want to go see them.
Yeah, quite possible. Quite possible. Anyway,
I think the film that I'm doing this week, it's not quite in that category. It was nowhere near as popular as Halloween, although there's a lot of stuff that came from this movie that you see in a lot of other movies. I'm going to go back to 1984 for this one because that's when it came out. It's called Dreamscape, which...
Good movie.
Was considered an action-adventure horror movie. It was only rated PG-13. I don't think it needed to be R. I think if they went into the R territory, it would have just gone from spooky, suspenseful into unnecessary gore. I don't know that that's the way you need to go with every movie that's supposed to be scary. The concept of this one, if you've never seen it, which a lot of people haven't, there's a young psychic named Alex Gardner who's basically on the run from every government agency because they keep wanting to recruit him, and they did, but he escaped. Anyway, they get him back and put him in a program called Dreamscape where psychics are supposed to be able to get into other people's dreams. Kind of a telepathy thing. But it only works when they're dreaming. It's not a hey, how you doing? Met you in the street, and now I'm reading your mind thing. They have to be asleep somewhere, which is kind of cool. And there's part of the Dreamscape team, I suppose, who want to turn people into assassins, where if you kill them in their dreams, they'll have a heart attack and die or something. And part of that works. There's a subplot where it's not even really a subplot, it's a parallel plot where the president of the United States is having really bad dreams because his wife just died. And so they're going to bring him to the Dreamscape project, where the guy who was successful in killing someone through it is going to get into the mind of the president and kill him, which will put the Dreamscape people in higher positions of power. And so there's the action adventure thriller thing, and then you get into people's dreams. There is one of them that is actually hilarious, where the guy whose dream they go into thinks that his wife is cheating on him. I'm not going to go any farther into it than that, but when you watch the scene, you'll go, oh, that's very much a dream, and it's very funny. Everything else in the movie is kind of creepy, really. The character of Alex Gardner, our main character, played by Dennis Quaid, this has got a great cast to it.
It does. It really does.
Max von Sydow, which is one of my favorite names. That's just a cool name. Christopher Plummer's in it, Eddie Albert, Kate Capshaw, George Wendt, which is very weird because this was at the height of Cheers. And all of a sudden, Norm? What is Norm doing in this movie? And it took me a moment to get used to, okay, he's not playing Norm, he's playing someone else. But that's okay. There's a lot of, like I mentioned, there's a lot of things in this that you see in other movies. I think the biggest one to me was the character of Tommy Ray Glattman, who's the guy who kills other people in their dreams, has the Freddy Krueger glove, kind of. For Freddy, it was a glove. For Tommy, it was just, look, I've got fingernails, ka-chink, almost Wolverine style. And this came out several years before. So a lot of the stuff you see, I've seen in the Freddy movies was here first, and not overdone. Now, do the special effects hold up for today? No. This came out in 1984. It's not it's almost 40 years old. I remember seeing this in a theater, which makes, let's not even get into how old that makes me.
No, we don't have to.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
But it was the special effects are not going to hold up. Get over it. But they're not horrible. It's not like, we're going back to, oh, look, there's a spaceship and the string it's being dangled from. It's not that bad. So, yeah, I'm actually going to strongly recommend this movie because it will give you an idea of where a lot of horror stuff from the 80s came from. It came from this. It even won an award. And this is an award I've never heard of. I just now found this. It won the Golden Raven Award from the Brussels International Festival of Fantasy Film, which is the BIFF Award.
I wonder if
or festival, I guess.
Is that Brussels, Belgium, or is it like Brussels, Indiana? One of those things.
It's Brussels sprouts. It doesn't say. Very strange, but it was a good movie. It's on Amazon Prime. I'm sure it's on other things too. Or not. Apparently it is just on. It's still worth watching if you've got Amazon Prime.
Absolutely. And if you don't have Amazon Prime, it's like probably $3 to rent on Amazon. Yeah. So I've not seen it in a long, long time, but I do, as I recall, a very entertaining, creepy film.
There's a lot of creepy stuff in.
And a great cast, like you said.
Yeah.
Definitely worth watching. Did not make a lot of money.
Including a guy named Bumper.
Did not make a lot of money when it first came out, but a lot of movies that didn't make a lot of money are excellent and have become fan favorites. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, sir.
So, good film and F7 shoot. No, good show. We think.
We hope.
Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you'll come back on Sunday when we've got news and maybe even Lee. No, that'd be too scary. We can't do that. I'm just saying. Anyway, so have a good weekend and go see a movie.
Pretty much it. Pretty much it. Pretty much.